Hello and welcome to part 3 of the dramatic reading of Through the Eyes of Another Pony. Chapter 1, part 3. Or was I? What was that anyway? It kind of smelled... Well... She was trying to be polite and think of a kind way to tell me that cigarettes reeked. I know, they smell terrible. I'll explain some other time. It's not that important right now. What is important is discerning if my presence here has any detrimental effect on Equestria as a whole, being my potentially harmful knowledge. Assuming you're not actually crazy, right? She finally pointed out that damn metaphorical elephant standing in the middle of the room, being fat and obvious. Screw metaphorical elephants! Whatever. I'm not sure of which I'd rather it be, I stated honestly with a nod. But the more I realize I've yet to do something out of character for me, the more I'm fairly certain some greater power is just screwing with me. That said, where do we go from here? Well, the first thing we need to do is start sharing some basic information. Twilight nodded before picking a nearby bench and lounging onto it. That will give me enough information to find out whether or not you're making this up. So what do you actually look like, assuming you're not a pony? Actually, think of Spike, I said, instantly grasping the bipedal form of the baby jacket. Now we'll try and mold in detail from there. No tail, 5 fingers instead of 4. Also, instead of scales, humans have soft, smooth, mostly hairless skin that have color tone ranges of pink, orange, brown, white, black, and mixtures thereof. Then, instead of those spines on his head, give him a pony's mane with color tone ranges of black, brown, white, blonde, and darker reds. Now make him about 6 feet tall, and that's the basic idea. I suppose if you wanted to, I could ramble on about how many different ways humans can look. But that could take an entire day on its own. I kid you not. As diverse as ponies can get, they really have nothing on humans and how different they appear. Twilight blinked, utterly caught off guard at how quickly I was able to answer the question and with such detail before smiling a tad reluctantly. We're going to be here a while, aren't we? I sighed with a wistful smile. It really wouldn't hurt my feelings. So, what do you want to know? Tiring! I hope those of you watching really appreciate this, because I am freaking tired. Just kidding. So if any of you have heard of Tumblr, go ahead and just check out my page. It's askexplosive.tumblr.com. Just saying, I really need more followers. Not that I'm trying to get you to do this, but do it if you want. Alright, here we go. And we burned about the next 2 hours talking about Earth. Sometimes I simply had to deny her answers, explaining that until I have a better understanding of where I was, I couldn't risk telling her. Things such as war, murder, and other grimdark subjects I tried to avoid and would even flatly refuse to approach anything related. As I was surprised that she was not appalled at the fact that humans were omnivores. Though I think the fact that ponies were not considered food to the general public was what assuaged her fears on that matter. Give me a second. Yeah. I told her of agriculture, the education system, fast food, fashion, automobiles, and even computers. She thought I was making up the last part until I showed her my smartphone. I had to take it away from her to get back to the discussion, but not before promising to let her look at it later. I mostly did so to keep her from seeing all the MLP content on it, and her end up thinking I was some crazy stalker. Ha! Aren't we all? Lol. LOL! Barrels! I don't trust you, Barrels! Sorry, I had a little, pity pie thing. Oh. Son of a biscuit. Eric. Sorry, hold up. I gotta find out up there. Alright. Where are we on here? I found it particularly amusing that Twilight was utterly floored at how humans could predict the weather based on certain patterns in fronts. I admit I don't know much on the subject, but I explained that even though we don't control the weather, specialists on the matter allowed humanity to work around it quite nicely with the occasional exception. And no, humans don't have magic. We have thumbs, which are as close to magic as you can get, in my opinion. Whatever. Oh, special shout out to Cards Laughter, the guy who wrote this amazing fanfic. Just keep on writing, bro. You're awesome. I want to know what happens after part 14. After part 13. Chapter 13, I mean. Mer. Then I turned the tables on her and had her explain the question to me. How earth ponies actually had magic to let them use their hooves and tails as prehensile limbs and were actually much better at it than unicorns, who mostly relied on their horns magic for such interaction. That made sense actually, since I had seen Applejack do lasso tricks with her tail, I silently concluded. Pegasi were able to use their magic to make themselves lighter, explaining the physics behind such small wings propelling ponies into the air, and that same magic allowed them to directly interact with the weather, as well as certain special talents. You'll find out later. Spoiler! Never mind. Talking about cutie marks and names that seemed to pertain to its significance towards a pony's special talent took up quite a bit of time in itself. Twilight assured me, though, that a pony was free to choose her special calling, or his, even if it was only subconsciously, and that fate would sometimes magically cause such things as names and coloring of one's mane and coat to reflect that talent. Sometimes it would even be a hint to help them realize it. But never was a pony's special talent influenced by their names or colors. Clear as mud to you, too. Clear as mud to you, too. Sorry, I'm trying out different ways of seeing, just to see how these will turn out. Sorry. Ugh. Sorry. It's like midnight, 12:47. Wow. Look, it's late. Finally, the interruption came in the form of hay, lovingly served to us by Spike. I grimaced. Being a pony does not mean I want to eat hay. Sorry, it Even if some pony part of me inside found the hay appetizing, the real me did not, and the real me gets the final say. Twilight looked at the clock. Oh, wow. We've been at this for a while, haven't we? She laughed a bit before taking a bite out of the hay. Thank you, Spike. Spike smiled at her before looking at me inquisitively. So, what aliens don't eat hay? So, what? Aliens don't eat hay? Nope. I stated hold up. Nope. I stated firmly before sighing. I needed to at least try and be polite. I will try it though. I will try it though. Just don't expect me to be blown away. With that, I took a chomp and my eyes widened considerably. It tasted exactly what you would expect hay to taste like. Big, dried grass. It tasted so bad. It's hay! I found myself utterly amused by the entire concept of such terrible food eaten just because ponies are supposed to eat it. Even though these ponies were obviously superior to the ponies back on Earth. And could make the connection of, hey, this hay tastes like crap. What about hay is so appetizing to these ponies? I asked myself incredulously. Bleh. As I began laughing with my mouth full. Twilight and Spike stared at me as I literally laughed my way through an entire bite of hay. I couldn't help it. It was just funny. Just funny, okay? I'm eating hay, and even though I'm a pony, and I should like it, nothing could be further from the truth. After swallowing, I shook my head with a chuckle. That was terrible. Do you have a kitchen? I'm sorry, but you guys need to try something with a bit of flavor. Spike seemed extremely offended, but was cut off by Twilight, who obviously was curious to see what happened. Of course. Spike, please show Mr. We all sort of let a heavy silence fill the air as we all realized that I had yet to give them my name. She gave me a hesitant smile, and I waited for me to supply her with one. Well, wait, what? What? Well, I can give you a name that I make up to fit in with the ponies. Or I can just give you my real name, which, to be honest, really isn't that exciting to me. Crap. What the heck? Alright, I'm gonna end it there, so, yeah. See you in the next part. Goodbye.